Welcome, folks! Today we'll dive into the turbulent waters of socialism and why it's a dangerous path for America and its economy. Now, socialism might sound like a sweet deal on the surface. Everyone gets a fair share, right? But peel back the layers, and you'll find a different story. It's a system where the government controls the means of production and distribution, which can lead to a stagnant economy and limited personal freedoms. Let's buckle up as we navigate through the murky waters of socialism. Hold on tight! Europe, a continent that has dabbled in socialism. Let's examine how that's working out for them. Look at Greece, where socialist policies led to a near economic collapse, along with sky-high unemployment rates and a crippled healthcare system. Or Spain, where despite a strong welfare state, the country struggles with a staggering unemployment rate of over 20%. Let's not forget France, where a progressive tax system and generous welfare programs resulted in sluggish economic growth and high public debt. The United Kingdom, once the beacon of socialist policies, has seen its public services, particularly the National Health Service, strained to breaking point. These examples are not anomalies, but rather the norm when socialist policies are adopted. High unemployment, low economic growth, and strained public services are common side effects of these economic strategies. As the European example shows, socialism is not the utopia it's often painted to be. In the world of socialism, high minimum wages sound appealing. But let's peel back the layers to reveal the truth. When we crank up minimum wages, it seems like a win for workers, right? But there's a domino effect here that's often overlooked. To cover these increased wages, businesses, particularly small ones, are put under significant strain. Some may even have to let go of employees just to stay afloat. That's job loss we're talking about, a direct contradiction of the promise of high minimum wages. Then there's the knock-on effect on the cost of living. Businesses pass on the increased costs to consumers, making everyday goods and services more expensive. The price of a simple cup of coffee could skyrocket, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. So while the idea of a high minimum wage might seem attractive, it's crucial to consider these unintended consequences. A high minimum wage, while noble in intention, often leads to more harm than good. Progressive taxes, a cornerstone of socialism, may seem fair on the surface, but what's the real cost? Progressive taxes are structured such that the tax rate increases as the taxable amount rises. This means that those who earn more are taxed more, a principle that sounds just. But let's delve a little deeper. When we look at states like California and Washington, we see the strain these taxes can put on middle and upper middle class families. These families are often the backbone of our society, working hard, investing in their communities, and contributing to the economy. Yet, under a progressive tax system, they bear a disproportionate share of the tax burden. Take California, for example. The state's progressive tax system places a heavy load on earners in the middle and upper middle brackets, and this has a ripple effect. It impacts everything from housing affordability to the cost of goods and services. The increased cost of living can drive families out of their neighborhoods, or even out of their state. In Washington state, despite not having an income tax, the sales and property taxes are high, disproportionately affecting middle-class families. These families, already stretched thin, are now being asked to shoulder an even greater burden. So we have to ask ourselves, is this fair? Is this the best way to build a strong, prosperous society? Progressive taxes, while designed to help the less fortunate, often end up hurting the very people they're meant to help. We've navigated through the dangers of socialism. Now let's summarize. We've peered into Europe's backyard, witnessing the high unemployment and economic stagnation that can accompany socialist policies. We've dissected the minimum wage conundrum, observing how artificial wage hikes can ripple through an economy, inflating costs of living and making everyday necessities less affordable for families. We've also scrutinized the progressive tax systems of California and Washington states. We've seen how these systems, though well-intentioned, can place undue strain on families and stifle economic growth. We've dived deep into the details, but the overarching message is clear. Socialism, while it may promise equality and fairness, can lead to unintended consequences that harm the very people it aims to help. As we can see, socialism, while appealing in theory, often leads to negative outcomes in reality. America, let's tread carefully.